Welcome to the Life Engineering Podcast. My name is Gabriela and Bhaskar, former chemical engineer, relationship coach, and author. In each episode, we'll uncover the wisdom, strategies, and tools to help you build thriving relationships and purpose-driven careers. My wish is that something shared in this space touches your heart, brings clarity, or gently guides you toward what you need most in your life right now. Thank you for being here. Let's begin now. Welcome back to the Life Engineering Podcast, the space where we explore what it takes to redesign a life of no regrets. I'm your host, Gabriela and Bhaskar, relationship and career coach, and today is a very special episode for me because my guest isn't just a thought leader in the field of personal development. He's also my partner in an exciting new journey we're creating together. Bhaskar is a guiding figure in transformative leadership and mentoring, founder of Body and Dana, author, and an international retreat leader who has worked with business leaders and communities around the world. Here's what I love about Bhaskar the most is his ability to take ancient wisdom and translate it into practices that shift how we live, how we love, and how we lead. Now, here's another truth most couples don't end in crisis, they actually end in good. They become functional, comfortable, fine. But good is not the goal. So, Bhaskar and we've been asking ourselves, what does it really take for couples, not just to stay together, but to thrive together? And that question has led us to create something special that we'll share with you today. Bhaskar, welcome.
I'm so happy to be here with you, Gabriela. Appreciate this very much.
We've been spending much time together preparing for this, and I can't wait to share this exciting opportunity. But before, I want to ask you a question because you work with leaders and couples all over the world. Why do you think so many relationships plateau at good rather than just stepping into great or the power couple synergy?
This is so true for people who are like what you can call highly productive people. And very often they're putting a lot of their energy into creating some kind of legacy. Maybe it's, from their career or some passion project or some activism kind of work. And they're also quite good at looking after their own, physical, mental, emotional capacities. And this the trifecta of this third part, the relationship kind of atrophies a bit, a tendency to take each other for granted, and that can very often lead to just a ho hum mediocrity in a relationship. It's okay, it's stable, it's virtuous, and there's good things happening. Yet the spark is gone, the juiciness is not there anymore. It's much more like an agreeable business relationship with somebody you got to know really well. So it kind of goes into this almost like a friend level, which is good. Yet it's missing that umph, that juiciness that makes it really an intimate devotional communion.
That's true. So I've seen the same with the people that I support. I also believe that we have this mentality that the moment we say I do, most movies end after the I do, after the ceremony. But that's just the beginning. And I always say marriage is not a status that you acquire on your wedding day or the day you committed, right? It's a dynamic process. But like you said, it often takes a backseat. I think that's for two reasons. Not many people had a good example at home. And the second reason is that we also have what we call an upper limit of how much positivity we can have. So the moment we become extremely successful at work or business, without knowing, we're filling that positivity tank. And then we hit that upper limit, and there's nothing left for the relationship. Am I making sense?
You're making a lot of sense. And also that relationship, I mean, the family part sometimes is well taken care of, like a good mother or a good father, and, taking the kids to all their dance classes or soccer or, making sure their homework is done and so on. So a lot of attention goes towards that dimension. Yet the dimension of intimacy can very often be left behind, almost accidentally as days turn to months, turn to years. So I totally feel what you're expressing. And I think we're both living examples. You'd mentioned also around, you know, how you entered into this body of work, because we both have that same background of engineers. And then we fell into bringing those principles into a relationship. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how the two combine for you.
The engineering mindset? Um, well, it's the whole belief that a great relationship has to be engineered, that nothing happens on its own. The first step is obviously to have a vision, a desire to create something extraordinary. I mean, you wouldn't launch a product or a project and not measure its performance or say, it's good enough. I'm making enough money. I don't want to make any more money. The business is stable. I don't need to grow it. We'll never do that. So the first step is to have the desire to create something extraordinary, even if we haven't seen that at home, even if we never had a good example growing up,
Mm,
to believe that it's possible, to have the vision that it's possible. And the second step is not just to have the desire, but to commit to make it happen. And I find the word commitment is so aligned with the engineering mindset
mm,
because it means I'll do whatever it takes to make this better. I'll measure and course correct. I'll measure and course correct. Even on days I don't feel like it, I'll show up. So commitment feels natural when it comes to work. You don't always feel like it. Some days you actually don't feel like having that leadership meeting that you need to talk about the next quarter with your team. But you show up and do what you need to do. So the same mindset applies when it comes to relationship. I call it mind over heart. I don't mean that we don't want to lead with emotions, but emotions fluctuate. Sometimes we feel like it, sometimes we don't. But if you are committed, you will show up even on days your partner pisses you off. You'll show up no matter what and do what it needs to be done to protect this sacred union that you have.
yeah.
What's your
It's this
take on that?
quality. Yeah. This notion of the way I'm understanding commitment is this: I'm all in, babe. I'm all in no matter what. I'm all in. This nothing can happen that's going to perturb or shake this quality of all in. Um, and you're right. Most of us did not have these examples growing up. I certainly didn't. I have a lot of love, respect for my parents. They were doing their best. At the same time, it was much more of a moralistic, pious kind of sacrificing your life kind of habit pattern that they inherited. And when I saw people who were actually thriving in the relationship, there was a tipping point for me. I actually went to my wife and I said, I don't want an ordinary relationship. I don't want it. I want to be in a thriving relationship. I want to take my last breath knowing what being in that the highest expression of a relationship is like, as opposed to just surviving to the 50th anniversary. And then, is that what you want too? And then that agreed commitment just made us better students at just cultivating this quality of being all in what I call love, respect, trust. And those are the foundations. And when I experienced into that, when we both got into that, studying all that, plus the coaching work that I do, I believe I wrote an article about this, and somehow that article fell, in your presence, and that's what started our whole conversation together about 7, 8 months ago.
That's right. So first of all, I want to say when you told her I don't want just vanilla, I want an extraordinary relationship. That's the vision that I was talking about. To have that desire to create something extraordinary and not compromise for just fine or functional. I believe your relationship should be a source of strength, not stress. Your partner should be your best friend, your confidant, your lover, right? And when we don't feel that way, then to recommit to make it that way. Because in the beginning, when we are in the honeymoon phase, we are unconditional, but it's not really unconditional. That's an illusion that we're being unconditional. In the beginning, we're in love with the feeling the other person makes me feel. All these butterflies, all the love, all the excitement. We become addicted to that feeling. So
Mm.
we give, but it's not really unconditionally. I'm giving because you make me feel all of this, and I love it. The commitment is tested when those feelings start to reside. And I said, can I still be unconditional and show up the same way I show up when I was feeling all these butterflies, when I was in that honeymoon phase? And when we do, the reward is incredible. We start creating that power couple synergy and building that unshakable, fulfilling, exciting, amazing relationship. So, like you said, we have experienced that. So not only we know it's possible, we know how wonderful that is. Actually, I'm celebrating on Wednesday our 27th anniversary. So it's a perfect timing to be talking about this.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. This notion that when you meet somebody first, there is this heightened sense of attraction towards each other. And we tend to put up our best persona, so that she sees a king in you and you see the queen in her. And there's this, a little bit of performance going on. As days turn to months and you get to more and more familiar with each other, suddenly your guard kind of falls down. You kind of go back to a much more I guess private personality which the public don't really see, and you find yourself less than impeccable, and so does the other person, and that degrades the relationship. A second thing that can creep in are what I call micro frustrations. In the beginning, it's not a big deal. But then after a while, oh, he left the toothpaste cap open again. Oh, the way she chews is so annoying. Oh, the way she, they hold the fork. All these micro things build up, creating this ambience of frustration. And on top of that, you live stressful lives, high performance lives, and then you have this person who knows you so well. The tendency to just use them for your emotional regulation by just sort of releasing your pent up emotions on this person who you've pretty much taken for granted. All these things can definitely diminish the fire of of this one plus one equals a power couple possibility, and you end up diminishing each other as opposed to uplifting each other. And that is the cycle, that's the prerequisite. You decide, I'm coming out of this. I don't want any more of this anymore.
I love it.
I'm done with that. So that's what this retreat is really about. It's about people who are deciding, you know what, steady, stable, I like it. But yeah, this vanilla thing isn't working for me anymore. I'm looking for something that is really delicious here. Not that vanilla is not delicious, we're talking the high quality vanilla.
I love it. Can you share a story when you saw a couple awaken to a completely new dimension of their relationship?
Absolutely, yes. So a couple I've been working with, both incredible beings, just really, good people. Wouldn't hurt a fly, good, best of intentions, and they have both suffered the exact same, call it trauma, but this pattern, and their stuckness can be summarized in the word a feeling of rejection. They both, went through experiences that embodied and imbibed in their being this feeling of being rejected. And it's almost like two twin flames of rejection attracted each other, and they're kind of locked into place. We attract parts of us that haven't been healed notion. And uh, and it's really using these very powerful processes that I will express in our retreat together. It is really duplicating that stuckness, releasing it from our somatic being. So it's no longer a part of who we are. It's really extremely powerful, that are very, very fast. And then you go back to who you truly are. And in their case, these divine beings already worthy, and already expressions of love. And that coming out of that stuckness, that inner wounds that you came together with, and now you're a healing presence for each other, and you're also in the place of cultivating these qualities that you want with each other as allies.
I love that. Love that.
How about you,
So,
my dear Gabriela? Any stories on your side coming up?
yes. I have this couple in mind that I work with before they have even children. They were at the verge of divorce. They were in that power struggle phase, which is the second phase of the relationship that comes after the honeymoon, where they were triggering each other, pretty much like you share. We work through the four pillars. The first pillar is the me, working on myself. So rather than killing the messenger and being angry at each other because you're triggering me, looking at thank you for showing me what I need to work on. And then we created what we call a bridge of awareness. They understood each other's triggers, each other's design, and they were able to continuously support each other in doing their work, almost like becoming each other's coach. And that's when you learn the type of communication that actually creates understanding and unity. So when you are resolving conflict from that energy, you're resolving conflict to understand. And I came across this beautiful sentence: most people know enough to misunderstand, but they don't know enough to understand. So the second pillar, which is the you, is learning about your partners. That's the bridge of awareness I was talking about. All this to say that they're together today. They also started their own family. Being on the power struggle phase, it's not a failure. It's a milestone we have to go through as part of our own personal evolution. Does it make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And even the stuckness I spoke of, for example, in this case, rejection, that's not a failure. That is something in your body that, we don't resist it, we don't fight it, we don't block it, we don't suppress it. We honor it, we listen to it, understand why it's there, what the hidden message is, what the cultivation is, what it wants you to experience. And that's the really, as Joseph Campbell would say, the answer the cave you fear to enter holds the answers you're looking for. And so these practices go right into that cave, and you find that very thing that you're resisting actually has profound insights into your I evolution and also in evolution of your couplehood. And you said something very important there. One of the dominant reasons why couples suffer or separate is because of poor or incomplete communication. How do you communicate your truth in a way that you're understood 100%, the way you mean it? And that's something else we will dive deep into. There's some very powerful ways to set that scene when you truly feel understood. And that alone is so healing. So we'll be diving into these very powerful, what I call relationship evolution communication protocols that's going to help couples tremendously in communicating their truth and also receiving communications without that reactive pattern of leaning in, leaning away mentally and emotionally.
That's right. Oh, I'm so excited. I mean, we've been working, like you said, for about 6, 7 months on this.
Yeah.
Which part of the retreat do you think will surprise couples the most?
This is not a talk therapy thing necessarily. We're not going to be. It's not a motivational. Hey, do this, do that. This is really a really sincere deep dive into truly understanding. You know, what do I truly want? What do we truly want? What is ours? What is us? And those dimensions, such a deep level. I think what surprised people is how much evolution can take place in such a short period of time when you go all in with sincerity using protocols from frankly facilitators who've been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah.
What are you looking most forward to?
Um, for me is the whole concept of possibilities. I am excited to show couples rather than focusing on the energy of problems. I'm excited to focus on where are the opportunities and the possibilities in this relationship. So to step into new dimensions of possibilities in each pillar, right? Personal in the me pillar, in the way I see you, the you pillar, in the way we function and operate the relationship, the our pillar, and then of course in the most sacred pillar, which is the us, in that intimacy and that union. And for people to believe, but truly believe, that their relationship can become better and better with time, that there is no limit to the level of connection and unity that you can feel with your partner, even if you don't feel that today. So that's the opportunity that I'm talking about, that I'm extremely excited for people to experience the portal of radical transformation.
It's also very potent and really no nonsense. We both have that engineering background, so there is not much fluffy, lofty things going on here. It's simply about being absolutely clear. What do I truly want? We truly want all these dimensions, and then clearing all the things that are in the way. When you're trying to cultivate with stucknesses like resentment, guilt, shame, it's like trying to drive a car with one foot on the accelerator, other one on the brakes. It's going to hurt the engine. So the next step is to remove the stuff that is jamming you up. And then you cultivate what you want to cultivate together with least effort, maximum joy, maximum impact. And that's essentially the whole roadmap of this retreat journey, is to remove the big stuff that's in the way, not to dwell on it, but get the big ones out of the way so we can actually cultivate effortlessly.
That's right. And thank you for mentioning it's not fluffy stuff. You're going to be bringing your radical transformations protocol from your practice. I'm bringing the four pillars to engineer a legendary marriage from my book. And together we have created a truly transformational portal for couples to step through. Yeah.
I'm delighted by this. You and I both, we live to see that transformation. We live to see this, couples that might come in like wilted flowers, or maybe not wilted, but not doing the best, and then just full blossom take off. It's that falling in love with that is why we do what we do. And this invitation is a very sincere, heartful invitation for any couple that's really looking to go, hey, we're doing good. I want great. Why do you want great? Because I want it. That's why. Simple as that.
And because you deserve it, I will add to that. You, I want people to know that it's possible for you to have a delicious relationship and that you deserve it. You're worth
You're
it.
living with this partner, there's a committed relationship, there's a commitment there. Why not thrive through that commitment as opposed to struggle through it?
That's right.
So allow this opportunity to support you with that, and just take delight in the thriving.
So, with that in mind, when couples arrive, what's the very first experience they'll step into? And why is it so powerful? I mean, we do have an open ceremony, which is where everything begins to shift. You want to share a little bit about that?
Well, a lot has to do with what's called scene and setting. The scene is idyllic. It's an impeccable setting for couples. It's literally a spa with this magnificent waterfall, and everything else is curated. With that flavor of enhancing a relationship. So already you're stepping into a scene. There's also intention setting as well in some of the etiquette that'll make this a best experience for everybody there. It's just six couples, so we're going to know each other really, really well in terms of depth of understanding. At the same time, of course, with dignity, whatever you want to keep to yourself, you keep to yourself. It's always invitational. Yet the very opening anchor would be a very somatic, experiential intention setting and dropping into the experience. So when we're in it, we make best use of this precious time that we've taken away from the eddying currents of life to really work on such an important aspect of our life, the person we're dedicating our lives with. So the opening scene, let's say, really anchors in that intention very powerfully.
We intentionally limited this retreat to six couples. It's going
You
to
know,
be very
it's
intimate.
yeah, the sacred container. And also, I want to express something is that as I sense that the male in the couple might have a little more reticence than a female. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm speaking more from an energy perspective. So it's open to all kinds of couples and genders, which is speaking mainly of masculine and feminine energy. So I just want to be clear about that. And I just want to also say that this is not about the man becoming more effeminate and becoming sensitive training. This is really about the men being who they are, noble masculine men, not some female version of a man or some hyper aggrandized chest pumping alpha male. This is really about the noble masculine that's being invited here. So know that this is not something that is some sensitivity training. is much more potent and powerful and real than that.
That was very important to mention, actually. Okay, dear Bhaskar, thank you for sharing this vision with me. I can't wait to be there and to open this portal of radical transformation. What excites me most is that this retreat isn't about fixing what's broken. As we said, it's about creating space for what's possible. When two people meet each other in full devotion, alignment, and purpose, um, yeah, power couple synergy can be created.
I too am equally delighted, Gabriela, to co-create this with you. And what a beautiful synchronicity that we've met to co-create this together. And the invitation is a radical relationship evolution. If that resonates, I'd love to dive into this with the six couples.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bhaskar. And to those of you listening, if your marriage is good, but you want to create a life of no regrets, you know it can be great. This is your invitation. The Power Couple Retreat is happening this autumn, actually, this last week of October, October 23rd, and it's by applications only. So it's open now for applications. Visit powercouplesretreat.com. Again, powercouplesretreats.com. To learn more and apply, spots are limited to 6 couples because depth is important and it matters. We want to make this very transformational and exclusive. So we look forward to having a conversation with you. And until then, keep creating a life of no regrets. Bye for now.